This seems like a nice place. I just needed some peace. Some peace and quiet. When it's you against the world, and like it feels like that, it's like not necessarily like that, but it like wears you down. Like people are very inconsiderate. What do they care? So I should do a whisper. Like this is like a soft voice in the woods. Just nice. Just in the breeze. Just relaxing. I can't believe the fire was just like right there. It wasn't a really huge major one, but it was enough. Like it was pretty big to have an evacuation alert. So I kind of like, I remember really loving summer when I was a kid. Oh, but did you prefer if I whispered? Yeah, I heard, yeah. But, like, when you're a kid, I don't remember being on all these evacuations and, whoa, there's a dragonfly. That was a huge motherfucker. I love dragonflies. I don't know if I caught that. Oh, I think there's a bee. When I was a kid, I was so terrified of bees. But, I don't, unless you live in BC, like, I guess you like know what that's all about. I mean, it's all over everywhere, but so it's like I kind of like, I dread the summer. Like how some people go on like planned vacations and they got their camper and they got their family reunions and what have you, this, that, and the third. And then there's somebody like me who just kind of just ekes his way through life. And that's shitty. That's like survival mode, and that's not really living. And so it's like when I'm at my basement suite that I got there right now, I'm still looking for another place. I didn't, there's very few places that are affordable for me at the moment, and it's like, you try to make an understanding with your neighbors, and everybody has their own idea, and they just go with it, and like, it's fend for yourself. Like, it's very cutthroat, and that's pretty shitty. Ooh, I'm already like dripping sweat. It's about 11 in the morning. Because it's 11:30, it's almost noon. Oh, I forgot I was whispering. I'm kind of half whispering and then talking, sort of. So I'm just trying to take it as it goes, and going with the flow. Go with the flow, Johnny. And you kind of, getting out and getting some fresh air and finding your peace, like that inner peace. Find that inner peace within yourself there it is. To find that space within yourself, maybe you have to go really deep. I've built so many, like layers. Like there's so many levels to who I am. And some say that when you're on a spiritual journey, it's not about self. It's about finding, like, without self, I guess. And your identity is kind of inconsequential. It's kind of irrelevant for you to have an identity. And I think that's, for someone like me, or for people like me, an individual like myself, who has suffered so much trauma, you really need to find yourself. And how else are you going to, we're here, we're in our meat suits, and it's keeping you from, like, being one with the fucking eternity. And it's just all too much. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's too much. And how else are you? I don't think people are thinking, like, when they say this, like, that it is without the self. And I understand what they're getting at. I understand the point of that. And it's not like, it's because it's, like, selfish and it's ignorant. But how can it be so ignorant when you're trying to recover and you're not, it's really not about holding on to the past. And it's like, that's what, like, PTSD is, right? You're holding on to the past, and it's like about letting it go. It's like, let it go, you let yourself go, and that way you're not invaded by terrible nightmares and things that just haunt you in your mind. And how people, like I'm saying, are just so ignorant about shit, and they don't care if you're alone and suffering, and it's just, you're irrelevant to them and they're irrelevant to you. And so then it's hard to find your own peace when it's, people are disruptive and there's disturbances, and you want to teach them a lesson, but it's like, when I'm saying it's you against the world, how can you teach the world a lesson like that? What's a guy like me supposed to do when it's like, when you're kind of on your last leg, and if you do one more thing wrong, which, really it's not wrong, it's natural to let out your anger if somebody is, being ignorant with you or intentionally trying to harm you. However, and, like, they need to know, and it's like, it's not going to be like a soft talk, especially if, like, you try to talk to people, even just mentioning your situation to people. You say it over and over and over again to, like, hundreds of fucking people, and it just, like, that's why it becomes so irrelevant, because it holds no value to somebody. Like, you are devalued and demonized by them, and that's why that they're not going to see it, because they don't care. And you could wrestle with that in your mind, your whole existence as a person in this world, this person that you are right now. can't grapple with that. You can't. There's a time. That's why there's a time just to let it go. You have to, for yourself. You just have to enjoy the green. Enjoy it. Just soak it up. I'm soaking it up. I'm soaking it in. I'm finding my peace. It's a meditation. I mean, there's all sorts of meditations you can do. You don't have. You can walk. You can sit. You can stand up. You can, throw up. You purge it out. You can softly purge it. You can kill yourself softly. You can kill yourself immediately. And I mean that metaphorically, of course. But we are killing ourselves with toxins and what have you. Whatever your poison is that you choose. Stress is a poison. Stress is like smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So you do have to find yourself in order to recognize what that is. We have to recognize that in ourselves and just you let it go. And it's so easy. So easy. It's not. I hate that. No one should ever make it look easy, they're flashy, or hey, you know what? There's nothing really wrong with that, but that's giving a false. It's like false advertising. Like I am this way, so can you be? But that's ignorant. So ignorant in the way that how can I be you? You did not live my life. I do not live yours. And I think there's a lot of people that don't understand that. I think people think that everything is just kind of basic and one-sided, and there's nowhere you can go with that. You just have to, it is about self in the way that you're always yourself. It's not this body. It's not our bodies. I mean, we do need to watch the poisons and the toxins and the emotions and have our Merkaba shields, our auras and our chakras lining up, and even just that is such a hassle. And it's because we think too much about it. We're thinking too much about it. I think too much about it. And then it becomes overwhelming. And then you already have bills. You already have things that you need to take care of. You already need to love yourself. And it's just well, then yeah. Then it comes to the point where it's again, we're letting it go. But we're letting the self go that has lived that torture. That's what we're letting go. You're letting go of what is holding you down, like our bodies are holding us down. And then we can ascend if we choose, It really sounds when people talk most of the time, it's just kind of you just, like I said, you don't see it from another person's perspective. And believe it or not, I've seen it from so many other people's perspectives because I have an open mind to it. I have an open mind. I try to have an open mind about everything, and then you can't, you're not really supposed to. Because you gotta shut them out. You have to shut everything out. And if you let it in, it's just some more problems that'll be bombarding you and troubling you when it's like pointless. I need a drink of water, excuse me. You know when you go to swallow, you're like, ugh. I brought a little bit of water here. Oh, thank God for water. Oh, yeah. Water is dinosaur piss, I guess, right? You know, not really, but it is. Ah, I love dinosaur piss. When it's fresh. When it's fresh piss. They said it was smoky today. Ah, I'm not smelling it. It's like gray smoky. I see blue sky. You know, some little bit of clouds. It's nice though. So it's like I've, kind of like maybe I'm portraying myself like I'm just beginning. Um, that is not what's happening here. I mean, I'm sure that you see it for what it is. You can hear what it is. I've done it. I've done that spiritual journey. I'm there. There are just more complications that will come into play. There are more things that will bring you down, your energy down. And you just, I had to choose today. I did. It was kind of like I wasn't really thinking about it, but you are thinking about it in the way that you choose to feel good. You choose to get up. You choose to go out. You choose to try and put on a smile even if it's like, because when you go out, it's a reflection. It's a fucking mirror. We're looking into a mirror, right? It's the reflection. It's the fucking mirror. And if you don't look happy in society, then people are just gonna reflect it right back at you. Or he's like, what's wrong with him? Like, the lack of understanding is immensely incredible. I try to find new words. I dig inside my mind. I don't have any notes that I brought with me. I constantly write things, and I have so many ideas. I have new ideas. I think I'm just like, instead of when I go live, I had an idea that could possibly be kind of good for my channel. That I have like a kind of like a surveillance, so like just for fun. See how long I can be live, just having a surveillance, like my neighbors, like just to fuck with them a little bit. Last night I was looking on like a Reddit and looking up ways to seek vengeance on your neighbor. you know, I don't love my neighbor, and that's not a reflection on myself, but then kind of, but it's also hilarious because there are so many things you could do that aren't illegal to just, because that's what people want to do. They want to piss you off. They want to piss you off so bad that you lose your concentration and they steal your energy, even if they are not willing to admit it or conscious of it. They're energy vampires. And that's just what we are. We're really carnal in nature. We're really very dark beings. Certainly looking for the light. And a lot of us maybe are lucky to have some type of light and knowledge about that. You know, I think most people, average people, couldn't put that together all so much. Like they wouldn't know what it was, what your light is. Oh, what are you talking about? Religion? Hell no. So it does start with yourself. And if you were lucky enough to have had a like really peaceful, calming life and really not much went wrong, and you can really focus a lot better and have that clarity of mind, then you can focus more on what your body needs, and that's not really too difficult. But you can focus on what your soul needs, like mind, body, soul. And with your spirit, because your soul and your spirit are two different things. The soul is like the higher, that's the higher you, and the spirit is like the spirit of the wind. It's like I felt the spirit, you know, like that. Like maybe you could feel my spirit. My spirit does travel. I'm a traveler. I travel in the realms and the other dimensions, and maybe I have visited you, or maybe I will. Maybe I'm about to. And it takes so much time and patience as we go slowly, 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 slowly into the reflection. And then, quite possibly, you lose the self. And that way you can find your quote unquote higher self. And that's kind of a contradiction, right? To call the soul the higher self, that's like doesn't really make sense. Actually, I kind of just thought of that. The higher self. Get rid of yourself for the higher self, but that does make actual sense. Because the lower self, it's the lower self, and then the higher self. Like, how else are you supposed to fucking understand this shit? So it's kind of like keep your head up. Keep looking up, you know. You look down on the ground. You're just looking down. Kind of just looking forward, upward, and onward. Into that place, into your peace, where your spirit is going to reside with all of you, with all of us. It's such a big concept. It's like, then that's what God is. Well, fuck God. Fuck God. That's the ego, you know what I mean? Like, because you're mad about shit, and you want, and I want justice. There's so many things that I'm like really, really hurt by still, and I don't. There has not been justice for it. So I'm suffering, but also because I'm hanging on to something that isn't myself. Like, for instance, when people label you as something, that's not who you are. Their idea of you is not you, but they're so convinced because their ego is like, yeah, well, fuck everybody else but me. Me first, and I don't care about you. And that's really why, you know, like Gandhi or Buddha or like a spiritual prophets focus on the needs of others. And then then that in return then you're not focusing on yourself. Maybe there was a serious, maybe there was a serious problem with Buddha, like that we don't know, and that what he had to battle, what he didn't understand, what he was going through. He was like a prince or something, and he was, what is death? Why do people die? What is this? Wow, now I'm a little bit, I'm so concerned. So what is this? Now I'm tackling this, and maybe I'm tackling it for somebody else, you know? And it's not just your own darkness that consumes you, and then you become consumed by it, and it's just nothing really. It's nothing important. And that's the adversary within you, and that is supposed to teach you to be like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I don't need to suffer, and no one needs to suffer. I mean, then take it to the extreme of like a crucifix, like so many of so many were crucified, and like what, and for the sake of us. But then again, that's the ego, because that's what people need, that savior, and that's very, very, I'm disgusted by that shit. Because if we, that's why when they say like on a radio show like Coast to Coast, they would try to get so many people involved in like meditation on the same thing in the same hour in the same like time, and to help evolve, and just not focusing on the self, and it's just focusing on the world's issues to help evolve it, you know. Because we're still basically cavemen. We're cave. We're cave. We have a mind. Our minds are like still in the dark ages. We just don't care, and that's unbelievable, because you would care for yourself about that, and again, and that's why you wouldn't focus on yourself. Once like, for example, a person like me has been able to get over that, what it was, that darkness, that leeching that was forced upon you, like the world will rob you of what is rightfully yours. And it is so wrong. It's fucking wrong. And you have to put your boundaries up. You do. Can't be all naive about it. We have our boundaries and we put them up because the world is the way that the world is. And it's not really going to change. Not for a long, long time. Sometimes it's better when I don't think. I'm not looking at a piece of paper what I wrote in my dungeon, and then I come out of the dungeon and and then I'm here, and I'm really finding like peace, like the peace that you would find like in nirvana, not the within yourself, within, it's like the nothingness. It's you know, if it's too hard, like it has been for myself, if it's been too difficult, it's been way too major of an issue to get past, then it's just you make it nothing. It becomes nothing because it's not your problem. And so the ones that are focusing on that, oh, that's your problem, but it's their problem, right? Again, like that's their problem. And I don't accept it, so you put your boundaries up. So I need to do some more. You need to do protection work and cleansing work, and for the love of fucking Pete, you need to do your shadow work. And I could be here really to help people. The ones that really need it, the ones that really are have an open mind for it. I really do have compassion for those that are suffering. I know what suffering is. And so, the devil in me about that would want to show those people that are being so terribly ignorant with you, to show them, oh, here, look at this suffering. You better feel this suffering, because then you wouldn't do this to your neighbor. And then that's too bad. Because we are supposed to get along with everybody, because that's what's going to make it work. And this world is shifting, and it's moving upward, and if you don't move with it, I mean, we're in space, man. We're on a fucking rock, a ball of rock in space, just spinning around, going up, going up. That was a nice little tweet. But here we are on a journey, my own personal journey, my own personal growth, and we're always forever growing, we're always forever learning. You know, you learn something, you can forget it, and then you learn it again, then you absorb it into your mind. And you go, I know that now, and I know that. And you don't need to keep going over it and over it. And you really need to cut people out of your life that are, you know, if you think they're good for you, but you don't know, but they're not, but the blah, 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 cut the shit and cut it out. That's what I'm doing, that's what I've done, so it's like I feel like I'm in isolation. And I haven't met anybody really all that nice. A couple of people here and there, but so that's good. Hopefully that's progressing. Little area in there. So I hope everybody out there is progressing. And my future videos maybe will be negative, and then maybe it's supposed to be, but for right now, this has been a positive message. And I enjoyed saying it. I enjoyed telling you. And I'll be doing more and more, and so find that inner peace. Find yourself, find your peace, and know that these are words. And words are emotions, and you can't really be taught with words, really. You have to feel it. You have to be taught with the feeling of it to go through. That's why I say you have to feel that pain and that torture, unfortunately, and that is the evolution. So we'll evolve if we keep struggling to move forward. The strong ones, the tough ones, the ones that don't give up. And I won't give up. I love you. Tweet, tweet.